August. I cannot believe that July has already come and gone. Summer in general is going by so fast, and I feel like August is really our last month of summer. So definitely looking forward to soaking up every little bit of this season that we can. And for this plan with me, if you've watched my previous plan with me, is usually I just share like a general structure of how I like to plan my months and the prompts and questions that I use. But this time I thought it would be helpful to really go along and do it with you, like share some of the things that I reflected on, the goals that I'm going to be working on in the next month. So I'm super excited to do that. For those of you that don't know, I'll be using Miss Lavender's planner. I've been using these for years and I just really love how they're laid out, and I'll put it in the description box below if you want to check it out for yourself. But let's get started. Go grab yourself a cozy beverage and let's get into it. Okay, so first things first is going to be reflecting on the previous month. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but in my previous videos, I've really gotten into talking about why I feel like it's so important to reflect on the previous month before moving on to the next one. So we're going to do that first. We're actually going to look back at what my goals were that I set for July. So we're going to get really personal, and I'm going to tell you if I feel like I accomplished these or not. The first one is working on our summer bucket list and recipes. That's a fun and easy one, and I do feel like I did this. I made a lot of yummy summer recipes, and we checked a few things off our bucket list. Next is morning routine and refining and self-discipline kind of all together. So I do feel like I got a little bit better with this, with my morning routine, but there is definitely room for improvement. So I think we're gonna be carrying that one into the next month as well. Next is ease into a workout schedule. So no, I think I worked out one time. That's it. I want to do this so badly. I really want to get back into Pilates. We're just gonna carry this one over into the next month as well, and we're gonna try really harder to work on it in August. Next is spend more time with family. I feel like I can check that off. We definitely did fit in some more family time this month. Next is read more. I can definitely check that off. I finished a book and I started a new one and I'm almost halfway through it, so definitely been reading more. Bake bread, no, because my sourdough starter needs some attention. She's been problematic, so hopefully I can get that figured out. We can bake more bread next month. Do more crafts. Ooh, I can't think of a single craft that I did in August. I feel like there was one, but I can't remember it. So I'm gonna have to say no to that one. Making to-do lists for the next day, the night before. I did this a few times and I realized how much of a huge help it was to me, so I put it on the list. I don't know if it's like something I have to do all the time, but it does definitely help me. So I do want to work on that one next month as well. And that was it for my goals. I feel like we did okay. There's some room for improvement. There's a couple things we just didn't get to it all, but like I said, that's why you look back on it and you can refocus your priorities and move them into the next month. So next is our July review. So what I did for this one right before I started recording was I went back and I looked through my camera roll, like starting with July 1st. And because I feel like it's hard to remember all of your highlights just right off the top of your head, or you could remember a few of like the really big ones, but I want to remember the small things as well. So I looked back through all of those and I thought I would share just a few highlights from my month. I'm not gonna bore you with the millions of little things that I wrote down or that I'm grateful for, but just a few highlights. We had a wonderful anniversary. We had our 7th anniversary and it was so nice. We spent some really nice quality time together, so that was a huge highlight for me. Little things that I enjoyed were gardening and thrift shopping, berry picking with my friends, just enjoying time outside and in the sun, reading by the pool. Bunch of little things like that. Speak Now, Taylor's version came out, which was super exciting to me. Also, watching the Barbie movie with my friends was a really special memory, and it was definitely a highlight for me. Our trip to Florida and seeing family and sharing in some really special family moments was a huge one. And then I have just overall taking steps towards bettering myself and my health. So those were some of my highlights for July. And now for reflections, this is where we're gonna get real deep. What did I learn this month? So one thing that I've been working on personally that I'm gonna share is self-discipline is self-love. So putting our healthy habits first and keeping everything else in its place and just making sure that we do the things that are good for us. I've also learned that the more that we do those good things, the better you feel naturally. And when you feel good doing something, then your body wants to do more of it. So even though it's like really hard to get a new habit or a new routine going, and at first it doesn't feel good sometimes because you're like, oh, it's early. Oh, I don't like eating like that. I just want, whatever it is. But eventually your body is going to react to the things that is good for it, and you're going to get the benefit. So that is something that I have learned that I am trying to implement and use going forward. The next thing is to be nicer to myself and know that I don't have to be perfect. And like, obviously that's not something like a new idea that I've learned, but it's something that I really felt this month. I feel like a lot of women felt very strongly about the Barbie movie. It was very emotional, and that was really one of the more powerful messages, I thought, was when she's giving that speech. If you've seen the movie, you know the speech. And she says, like, it just kills me that you don't think that you're good enough, and how we just tie ourselves into knots to make other people like us or make other people happy. And it's just so sad. And it really just hit me that we have to be nicer to ourselves as women. We're not perfect. We can't be everything all the time to everyone. And it just really made me think and take a step back and think, okay, we've got to be kinder to ourselves. We are not perfect, and that's perfectly fine. And I'm gonna get off that soapbox now before I start crying. Okay, next is, what am I proud of? I always have to really think about this one because I feel like when you're reflecting, you're trying to think like, what can I change? What can I do differently? But I appreciate this question because it forces you to really look at, no, I did do this and that's really good progress. So I would say that I definitely did work on self-discipline. I worked on setting boundaries, and I worked on not being so hard on myself and giving myself grace despite mistakes, and knowing that those mistakes don't erase my progress, and they also don't make up who I am, if that makes sense. So I'm proud of myself that I was able to look at hiccups, bumps in the road like that instead. And the next part is, how can I improve going forward? And I did just pause to write this down. I think the main thing that I want to improve on going forward is continuing to strive for balance and putting things in their place while keeping my mental and physical health at the top. So just being balanced and making sure that I'm doing those healthy habits. Also, utilizing my morning, so focusing on my morning routine and just having time to myself before I start the day. And lastly, loving myself enough to do these things. Because again, it all comes back to one of my main themes of self-discipline is self-love. So just making sure that we put in the effort, show up for ourselves, and do what we need to do to feel good. That does it for reflecting on July. Now we can move on to setting our goals for August. So the first question that it asks is, August will be. So describe August in what word? Like, what do I want it to look like? And after reflecting on my previous goals and the things that I know that I want to work on, I've come up with the word transformative. So just positive transformation. So this book breaks it up into main goals and mini goals, but I feel like they're all the same. Like, I just want to set a bunch of goals. Obviously, it's good to have a few that you mainly focus on and then some smaller ones. So I did break it up, but I'm just gonna share all of them with you. The first one, in keeping with our theme, is practicing self-love and balance. Next is focusing on healthy habits for my morning and night routine. My night routine I feel like is a little bit more established, but my morning routine is really the one that needs the work. And now we have our goal that we moved over from July to August, which is easing back into a workout routine. I'm not trying to all of a sudden like run 5 miles at a time. I just want to ease my body back into healthy movement, and you can hold me accountable. I am going to do that in the month of August. Next is an exciting one, which I want to start planning our fall garden, which is so crazy that I'm talking about fall, but from what I've read as being a very new gardener, that you kind of need to start planning your fall garden in August, so that is on my list. Next is a YouTube goal, which is to get to 500 subscribers, which I feel like is a pretty good balance between realistic and could be hard. I don't know. My YouTube growth has been a little bit slow because I've been posting more inconsistently, so that's on me. So I'm hoping if I get back into a good schedule, which is also one of my goals, that will also help with this goal as well. I believe I'm at like 420 right now, which is insane, and thank you so much to every single person that has subscribed. And if you're not subscribed yet, I'm very fun, so what are you waiting for? Also, one day I'm gonna have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so don't you want to get in on the ground floor of this, whatever this is? So 500 subscribers is the goal. Another YouTube goal is to work with a brand. I have yet to really work with a brand. I'm on a couple affiliate programs, which I'm super excited about, but that's more of like a spend money to make money sort of situation, so that can be kind of tricky, especially when you're just starting out. So I would love to actually work with a brand or a company that I really resonate with. I have actually received a couple people have come out to me, and I've actually turned them down because, one, I never want my channel to be about consumerism. I never want you to watch one of my videos and feel like, oh, I have to buy that, or that's all the video is about, is like what I'm trying to get you to buy. I never want that to be the feeling of my channel. And so when I do accept things, I want it to be more in the way of just inspiration or just sharing the things that I love. And I also want it to align with my values and my niche. I had, maybe I shouldn't be talking about this, but I did actually have like a lighting company reach out to me. And like, I thought about it for a second, but I was like, what would that look like? I wanted to share with you my new lamp. Hey Google, turn on Lampy. You know, maybe one day when we have our house and we're buying lighting, that would make more sense, but we're just not there right now. So that kind of thing. I want to find a brand that resonates with what I want for my channel and my niche and all of that. So anyway, my next goal is far more important than the last two that I mentioned, and that is incorporating a specific type of Bible study each morning. And I've actually been thinking about this one a lot, and just to make sure that I actually do it, I actually made a note on my phone with that schedule. So it's little points that are different for each day. It's super personal, obviously, so I won't go into talking about the details of that right now. But I think that that is really important to not just say that you'll do it, but also kind of make a plan. Next is keeping up with our financial goals. And this is something that we're really trying to focus on right now. It's something that's super important to us. And I also have to keep it positive, because I feel like when you are on a budget and you have these goals and just plans in mind, it should be a positive thing. It should be something that is both of you are in agreement with and that you doing for your future. So I want to make sure that we stay on top of that with our budget and also keeping a positive outlook about it. Next in my mini goals section is to read 2 nights a week. So just reading more. Like I said, I'm halfway through one book now, and halfway through another one. So I feel like I'll definitely finish those 2 this month. And sorry, the girls are playing. They have so much energy right now. I have tried like getting them to stop, but you know, it's just, they're just so cute and I can't break that up. Like, how did your bed even get over there? Anyway, have fun nights with friends. I have in parentheses maybe a little summer picnic. We actually have some plans in the works for some little fun girls' day, which I'm super excited about. Have meaningful date nights. We do still do our date nights every week, but it's really easy for us to just fall into the habit of, oh, we'll just watch TV, we'll just play video games, which is totally fine and great, and we love that sometimes, but I like to make them specific and more meaningful whenever we can. Next is just to work on my YouTube channel, my marketing, my media kit, and all that kind of stuff. And still obviously very new, and that's something that I need to take the time to work on the side whenever I can. And the last one is actually more of a main goal, honestly. That's breaking up chores into smaller tasks so that I don't get overwhelmed. This is something that happened to me multiple times in July, and I just don't want that to happen because things just like the laundry just piled up and I was so stressed And it's just because I had a very like all or nothing attitude towards chores, and I didn't think like, oh, we can just do a little bit now, a little bit tomorrow. I just let it pile up. So this is really important to me that we break it up so that it doesn't get to the point where it's just crazy. And the last part is just taking all of those goals and plans and actually looking at a calendar and figuring out when you can do everything. So right now, looking at July, it's like totally empty. I have a couple doctor's appointments, and that is one of the things that I have on my list to check into and make sure that I'm making appointments. So those are already scheduled, which is great. We have 2 weekends where we're going to see my family, which is also great because that's something that I always want to make sure that we are making time for to get up there. And honestly, my month in general is pretty open, which is crazy. This is also the first month, literally this whole year, that we aren't going out of town. So we're gonna enjoy that. I mean, we love going out of town. We're so grateful, obviously, but to just be here for a whole month is going to be great. I feel like we're gonna be able to get so much done and stick with that transformation theme, like what I talked about earlier. So yeah, there's definitely a few weekends where I can cross some more things off our summer bucket list for fun, that we can have people over, connect with other people, we're seeing family. It's all really good, and I think that it is very possible to fit in everything that I want to work on this month into this month. But that is going to do it for my August plan with me. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you got some tips and some inspiration on how to plan your month as well. And I hope that you have a wonderful month of August. I will be seeing you all a lot in vlogs this coming month. I'm super excited. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye.